Good morning, welcome to Furry and Spoilt. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to choose a groomer for your dog. We've been on quite an experience with this because Albert, not this dog here, but this little one down here, little Albert, he has dog autism, and so he's not being naughty, he just, you know, his behaviour, I don't even want to say it's difficult because it's not difficult for us, but for groomers it can be quite difficult. And so after trying many different groomers, we just gave up and we do it all ourselves now. And it was the best thing that we ever did because it can be broken up. So we do it between me and my husband, we do it. And I'll do a video about what we do and how we do it all. Because there's an awful lot to do actually with dogs. Now some dogs, so like my last dog was a German Shepherd and he didn't need to go to a groomer's. He just needed his nails done every now and again. But because he was such a heavy dog, because he was like a large German Shepherd, that just ground his nails down. And so he didn't really need to have them done hardly ever. And all he had to be done was brushed every week, and teeth. Ears weren't a massive problem, just sort of wipe them out or whatever. But compared to these two now, so the little Albert here and then Pickle Boy, Harry over there, they need so much grooming. Especially, I mean, Albert is... They've both got a bit of Bichon in them, but Albert has a lot of Bichon in him and he needs so much grooming. And I always laugh because he always looks homeless, I think, even though I groom him every day. Every day I do a load of stuff. My husband does a load of stuff to them. And then we've got Pickle Boy over here. So he's Basset Hound crossed with a King Charles Spaniel, which really concerns me because he's got this big barrel of a body. He looks like he's really fat, but he's not. It's solid. This big barrel of the Basset Hound body, and then he's got the little King Charles legs. And so he does not need, he doesn't have like all the allergy issues and stuff like that Albert has. So anyway, yes, so when we first, so up until this point, before I got Albert, I'd always had dogs that didn't need to actually go to the groomers. So my first experience of needing a groomer was Albert. And when he was a tiny little puppy, I had a woman, she had a great big van and she used to come round, park in the driveway, and she did him there. And that was really quite good, because he wasn't far away from me. I was just like in the kitchen and I liked that. So it wasn't like I had to drop him off and leave him. She was really good with him. She really understood him. He had known her since he was absolutely tiny. And it was all going really well. And then she changed and she set it up in her garage. And she got different staff and she... everybody's leaving me. No, there we go. Always rely on Pickle Boy to stay. And it went so badly wrong, and there were a few issues there. Number one, we had to leave Albert and it was for about 3 hours. I wasn't happy with that at all. She wasn't doing it herself, she had staff, and one day he came back from there and the cut was absolutely shocking. But what really alarmed me was when I pulled it and said no more. I turned up early once to get him, and I don't know why I turned up early. I think it was just instinct. I turned up early to get him. Now Albert is, I don't want to say he's a difficult dog, but you know, like if you've got a child with autism, how they behave, they make noises and they're sort of a little bit overactive and things like that. He gets very, very excited around new situations or in public. He's a very excitable little dog. As you know from my videos, at home, he doesn't do that. Let me show him, where is he? He's over here. At home, we're talking about you, my darling. At home, he is as calm and relaxed as anything because it's an environment that he knows. So bearing all of that in mind, especially thinking about it, we turned up to pick him up. He hadn't seen me for a couple of hours, and if you bear in mind that Albert is with me all the time, I got there and he was just sat on the table, staring into space, just sat there. And I said to the groomer, what's wrong with him? Because he should have been going mad. And he just sat there staring into space, letting her do whatever she wanted. And I said, is he drugged up? Have you given him drugs? and I was mad as hell. And she wouldn't answer. So I got him and I took him away and I took him home. And he was all right for about, on the journey home he was the same, just out of it. And then he very quickly snapped back to normal. So I think what she did was she gave him this drug, and if I turned up on time, which would have been like an hour later, he would have been back to normal. So I think she'd been drugging him all that time. I can't even talk about how angry I am about that. But anyway, that's a lesson. If you are taking your dog to the groomer, turn up early. See what's really going on. Really do that. Now, as with the vets and with dog walkers, dog trainers, all of them, there are good, the bad and the ugly, and I've come across them all. So yeah, there are the good. Now, they are very far and few between, as with anything in the dog world. They know what they're doing, they genuinely love the animal, and the dogs love going there, it's all brilliant. Then you've got the bad, and I've experienced this. They're really nice people and they genuinely love dogs, but boy are they bad at dog grooming. We had one lady, and I'm not joking you, right? We were there for hours, it went on forever, and she couldn't do any of it herself. So she had to get me and my husband, who was there, to basically, there's 3 of us trying to do things with Albert so that she could cut his claws. It was, honestly, we laugh about it. It really was awful. Albert wasn't suffering, he was having the time of his life, you know, he was, but honestly, this poor woman, she did not have a clue what she was doing, bless, and she wasn't new at it. She'd been doing it for years. It was really bad. She was the one where we finally decided no more. Now, you can, I have had another groomer, I've tried a few. There's another groomer, she came to my house, and she bathed him in my bath, and she had her own table that she set up in the kitchen. That sort of worked okay, but again my issue is that it goes on for hours, and she didn't really have any personality, she didn't really interact with Albert. I think she found him a bit annoying, but out of all of the options, if you've got to go for an option, I would have a groomer who comes to your house, because you're there, you can see what they're doing, you can see it all going on. Now, something else you really, really need to watch. Now this, I have to say, I think it happens more, so I'm in the UK, it is something that happens in the UK, but it's more across the world where I think the laws aren't as strict on it. But they put them into a crate, a cage basically, it's called a drying box. They put them into this box and they basically turn it on and all the walls blow out hot air. And dogs die in them. Lots and lots and lots of dogs die in them. And as I always say, with anything to do with dogs and heat, but cars, conservatories, just walking your dog in the heat, just because the dog doesn't die doesn't mean that the dog didn't suffer awfully. So I think a lot of groomers, you know, the owners come and pick up the dog, and the dog's there and they're happy to see you, they would be, but they've been suffering like hell for the last, you know, 2 hours or whatever. So please, please, please be aware of that. And also be aware of things like, you know, it's in the UK at the moment, we're going through a heat wave, it's very hot, but any time in the summer, you know, drying them with a hairdryer, do they care that the dog's going to be getting so hot under that hairdryer? Just, do they care? That's why, again, you know, I'd really say if you can, get a dog groomer to come to you, so you're there to see it all. Because this is the other thing, dog groomers are so keen to get you away. Now they always say, vets say it as well, the dog is better behaved when you're not there. And yeah, to a degree, I do understand that. I think when they're dealing with a stranger, they do behave better. And maybe at the vets, the job is able to be done better if you're not there. But it concerns me the way groomers are so keen to get you away and not there. So, and I mean, when you have the groomer at your house, I wasn't in the room, I went upstairs and let them just get on with it. But you know, you can just be around, wander past they're in the kitchen, you just wander past the kitchen every now and again, just check everything's okay. That's what I would strongly advise you. The best option is to do it yourself. Not only, right, so it is better for the dog, but it saves you a fortune, because it was costing us £40 a dog a month. It was costing us £80 a month to groom these two. Not that it's about the money for me at all. If that was the best thing for the dog, I would pay it. But we now groom them at home. So my husband does the clipping. Now you might look at Albert and say, yeah, you can tell. And then on the whole, I'll tell you something, on the whole, he does a cracking job at it. He really does a good job. Over the years, he's got really, really good. To begin with, it all looked a bit dodgy for a while. But on the whole, you know, the dog was short. What more do you want? But now, I'd say he's got, you know, he's really, really good. So they've got their summer cuts at the moment. So we've taken their cheeks right down, taken everything right down. So he does so on a Saturday morning, he does their claws. I'm going to do a video about that because I think claws are so hard to do, and we found a device. Albert is right, so when he's grooming them, he does them on the kitchen table, and I'm just wandering around. When he's doing Harry, show little Pickle Boy, when he's doing Pickle Boy, you don't hear anything. You just hear him saying, "Oh, that's good boy, you're such a good boy," and all that. When he's doing Albert, all you hear is, "Stop it, Albert, no, Albert, don't do that, Albert." He does do a really, really good job with them, and he does all the so he does their claws, he does all of their trimming, because they need trimming a lot, because even in the winter, they're out muddy walks and stuff like that. I don't have them long, I have them short, it's just much easier. Between us, we do ears, I'll explain that. I pluck the ears, because my fingers are narrow, I can get in there deeper, he puts the liquid in. And then every day I do brushing and putting cream on and all that malarkey, which I've talked about in other videos, and I will do videos about our grooming and what we're doing. And there's no bother. They're done every Saturday morning, so they don't have to be, so it might be 1 week is doing the nails, next week is doing ears, next week is doing their fur. So they're probably groomed for maybe 20 minutes, 15 minutes every Saturday. And then, like I said, I brush them every morning and stuff like that. But it's so much better than the, 3 hours, 2-3 hours at the groomers. So much better, I can't tell you. And it was just such a stressful thing, because it was just horrible. I dreaded it. They would have been feeding that off me. It was horrible. There's something we did do when we very first started doing the grooming ourselves. We did the clipping, their fur, but we couldn't do the nails. We were really rubbish at doing their nails. So we found a groomer that just did their nails. We took them once a month just to get their nails done. But then, and we were doing that for years actually. And then when COVID hit, she was vulnerable, so she had nobody for like ages. You know, there was a really long waiting list, so we had to do it ourselves. And so that's when we learned how to do it ourselves. It was really difficult, I'm not going to pretend it wasn't. But the tool that we're using now, it's like a grindy thing. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to record my husband doing it all and get him to talk through what he's doing and what different devices he's using, because it's so much better. Really, really good. If your dog has got long cuticles, it's really good at getting those cuticles right back so you can get their nails really nice and short. But like I said, I'm going to break that all down, because there's so many different elements to grooming, and I'll break it all down and I'll record you know, whether I'm doing it, whether my husband's doing it, whoever's doing it, and then go through what we're doing. We're not experts, but I mean, we're managing. The dogs are, you know, everything's the way it should be. Oh, we've got a load of pigeons in the garden. Everything's the way it should be. And they look all right. I mean, you know, they didn't always, but you know, we're getting there. Pickle Boy, you look all right, don't you, darling? You don't look like your daddy cut your hair, do you? Sometimes you do, don't you? A little bit sometimes, don't you, sweetheart? Yeah. Albert, can we look at you? Yeah, you don't look like your daddy cut your hair, even a little bit, maybe you do. When we first did their summer cuts, about a couple of weeks ago, they did look a bit dodgy. But, you know, it's all blending in now. It's all white, isn't it? It doesn't matter. So that's that. That's all I've got to say about groomers. I hate the fact that I come on here and do these videos and I've got nothing good to say about any of them. Walkers, groomers, any of them. And I don't... Well, all I can do is go from my experience and what I have lived through. And I've had dogs for years and years and years, and I've had all different kinds of dogs. I've had highly, you know, really top bred dogs. I've had dogs like the ones I've got now, which are all mixed up. And, you know, I've had it all, and I'm just talking about my experiences. And like I have said many times, I am very fussy about my dogs. I am very fussy about who does anything with them. But unfortunately, I'm just talking about my experiences, and unfortunately I just don't have that many good experiences. I think there's there's so many people just making money out of dogs because, you know, it's easy to make money and you don't have to be qualified. And unfortunately, you know, that's the reality of it, and you have to hunt down the ones that are actually qualified and love their job and are doing it for, well, I mean, obviously you're doing it for money. I understand that they have to pay bills, but it still has to be done. You still have to love the dogs. So, yeah, I'm sorry that is, you know, I haven't come on here and go, oh, yeah, they're all great, because that isn't what I found. But anyway, on a positive note, it's growing great for us. We're doing it all ourselves. And trust me, if we can do it, you can do it. We have got a really difficult dog. Not this one, my little pickle boy. He's not difficult. But our other one, bless his little heart, but he's difficult. And we didn't know what we're doing with groomers. We were just, you know, learning as we were going. If we can do it, you can do it. And I will do the videos. I've got the next video after this is going to be about choosing a dog trainer. And then I'm going to start doing the grooming video. So there'll be lots of them showing the different aspects of it all. So that is me done. If you want to come and say hello, I'm on Twitter and on Instagram, Furry and Spoilt. The website is there. Hashtag Furry and Spoilt. I think that's it. That's everything. Yeah, come and say hello. Let me know what you're up to. If you have got anything in particular that you want me to record about the grooming first, now's your time to get your requests in, because I'll be recording them. Well, I'll start filming them this weekend actually, and they'll be going up next week. So if you've got any requests about any aspect of grooming that you want me to start with, get that in now, and then I'll film that first and get that up for you next week. And as always, if you've got any tips on how you're grooming your dog and things that work, products that work, techniques that work, this little Albert, then please let me know. Actually, I can give you a close-up of his cut. Okay, so we can see here that it does look a little bit like his dad cut his hair. There are a little bit, he's like fluffy and then a little bit patchy bald. But it will blend in. Nobody will know, will it, baby? Nobody will know that your daddy cut your hair. They won't know, will they? What are you looking at out here? Well, I'll tell you what he's looking at out here. The tortoise is out there. Our little tortoise roams around out there. And if you're wondering what these tubes are everywhere, it's our air conditioning system. We just get it out in the summer for the boys, for the dogs. And Albert wants to go out there and eat her food. Don't you, darling? You want to go out there and eat her food? You can't go out there and eat her food. So, oh, sorry, that was my finger. There we go then, that's everything. I hope that you have a really lovely day. And thank you very much for watching. And I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.